Good to have each one of you on this live Facebook Live that we are doing. The topic that I'm going to talk about is an interesting one, and many of us, many of you would be having this thought at the. So, hi friends. So, the topic I'm going to do today is an interesting one, and many of you would be having this at the back of your mind, like why love dies in a marriage. And I'm going to talk about three things. The first thing, why love dies, and I'm going to explain it later, is because of the wrong understanding. Why love dies is because of the wrong understanding. Now, I'm not talking about misunderstanding, I'm talking about wrong understanding. The second reason why love dies is because we, without knowing, kill it. We, husband and wife, without knowing, we kill it. The third reason why love dies because we consider marriage is an expense and we don't look at it as an investment. We consider marriage as an expense and not as an investment. So, as we are going to talk about it, the first of all, the question is why love dies. And you would have seen two people who are, happily in love, madly in love, want to give up their life if they are not allowed to get married. I've heard, as a coach, I get to hear so many stories of people, the struggles of people, and I get to hear the struggles of husbands. Him, welcome, him. Good to have you. So I get to hear the struggles of husbands. I get to hear the struggles of wives, and I get to hear the struggles of the parents. And many a times, Sheldon, great to have you, Sheldon. So many a times, I've heard the father of the bride or the bridegroom telling me that, my daughter was madly in love with this guy, or my son was madly in love with this girl. They wanted to get married. I was not very happy about it. But then I thought if I don't allow them, they will elope and or they will kill themselves, and that will be a bad thing. And now just a year is over of the marriage and they are separated. I just don't understand. So today I'm going to look into the three reasons. There are many reasons that came to my mind, but I'm going to look into the three reasons. So the first reason that I want to look into is the wrong understanding. Wrong understanding. So there are two things. The first thing is infatuation. The second thing is love. The infatuation is the thing that happens when we are infatuated with somebody is like when you are high on cocaine or alcohol or any kind of drugs. Your brain is producing two kinds of home chemicals called dopamine and endorphins. And these are the same chemicals our brain produces when you take any kind of drug. So what we call as love is not love. It is infatuation. It is that attraction. And the thing is, we consider that as love. And when that goes away, that infatuation goes away, we think that love is dead. But that is the nature's way of doing things. Let me explain to you, what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. The thing we are calling as love is not love, it's infatuation, and it has to end for love to grow. Let's look at, let me give you an analogy that will help you to understand. Let's say you got a rose plant, all right? You got a small branch of that rose plant, you plant it somewhere else. What happens to that branch that you plant somewhere else? Does it suddenly grow, or something strange happens? Something strange happens. Anybody who is watching this, what happens? It dies. All the leaves come out. And once the leaves come out, now there's a possibility of new leaves coming up. So when we are talking about love dying, it basically means those old leaves have come out. Nothing else. If you're talking about a baby, the milk teeth have come out. Nothing else. But because the milk teeth have come out, now they have made space for the strong teeth to come. Because these leaves which were old have come out. Now there is space for the new shoots to come up. But we just do not get it because not because we are bad or we are ignorant. It's just because nobody has taught us this. Our schools teach us about what's happening in America or the history of Japan or the French Revolution, but our schools don't teach us about the fundamental things about love, relationship, marriage, none of these. It's considered as something bad, something that pushed away, something it has to be kept on the side. So this infatuation happens everywhere. You go to the gym. The first 2 months of that gym is your infatuation with gymming. It's not love. It's not maturity. But after 2 months, if you hold on, now you start enjoying it. Now that's maturity. You start a business. First 3 months, that excitement that you have, that doesn't last long. But what comes after that, that lasts long. So the first thing we got to understand is love doesn't die. Love takes birth after infatuation dies. Let's go to the second one. The second thing is we kill it. We kill love in our marriage. Understand this. On one side, you have something called love, understanding, trust, uh, cooperation, appreciation, gratitude. On the other side, you have criticism, doubts, anger, shouting, screaming, not talking. In your house, at a given moment, you can have this or you can have this, not both of them. You cannot have criticism and love living together. You can't have it. You cannot have doubt and love living together. You can't have anger and love living together. You can't have shouting and love living together. They can't be together. When criticism walks in, the love walks out. But we don't get this. We think that by telling the other person to change, by criticizing the other person, by shouting at the other person, by doubting the other person, by looking and checking out my spouse's phone for his or her movements or who she is talking to, what she is doing, we think that that person will suddenly change and will come together. Or complaining, sometimes not talking for days, we think that the other person will fall in love with us again. Now that's absolute stupidity. That's absolute stupidity. Love cannot be born out of negativity. It has to be born out of love. So we kill it. We kill it. And let's not kill it. Because our logic says if I tell her, she will change. If I tell him, he will change. That's absolute rubbish. That only happens if you are the parent and your child is very small. You can tell your child not to do something, otherwise, I'm going to cut down on the TV, or you're going to get some spanking. Probably it will work. It will work in the office where you're the boss and you have an employee. And you can tell your employee to change, otherwise, I can throw you out. But it doesn't work in a marriage. So if you want love to last, get out of this rut of negativity. The third thing is marriage is an expense and not investment. That's why love dies. In India, look at the amount of money people spend on a wedding. And look at the amount of money people spend on a marriage. Let me explain that. Look at the amount of money people spend on a wedding. Everybody understands that. A coat that a person wears for 3 hours costs something like 10 to 15,000. And after that, probably he will never wear it. A gown, the bride wears it for 1 hour, cost about 20,000. After that, she will never wear it. But then you ask people, how much have you invested in buying a book about marriage? In investing in buying a course on marriage? Nothing. Nothing. We have this misunderstanding inside us that good people make good husbands. or good people make good wives. So we look for a good person and we think that if the person is good, he'll be a good husband. Absolute stupidity. It's it's something like this. You telling yourself that good man or good person makes a good doctor. Now it doesn't work that way. Just because you're a good person, you cannot be a good doctor. You have to go through 5 years of rigorous studies. Just because you are a good person, no company will take you as a software engineer. Just because you're a good person. Just because you're a good person, you cannot become an HR manager because you're a good person. You got to go through learning. And the same with marriage. If you want to have an awesome marriage, lot of understanding, lot of love, lot of care, you got to invest in learning. Look at people. If you ever have a son or a daughter and you want him to be a doctor, what would you spend your money on? On his convocation, or giving a party when he gets admission, or on his studies itself? What would you spend it on? Obviously on his studies itself. But when we look at marriage, what we do? We spend that money on our wedding. What a waste of money. And then we fight tooth and nail about the very thing we have invested in. So what I suggest is, if you want to have a great marriage, there are many men on the call, on this, watching this Facebook live or watching the recording. This is what I suggest. Keep aside 2% of what you spend on your wedding to invest in your marriage. 2%, that's it. 1 or 2%. That's more than enough. And when I say investing, I mean buying courses, getting a coach for yourself, buying books, so that you become an awesome husband or awesome wife. There's a myth that revolves around marriage. The myth is this, that both people, husband and wife, has to change. The truth is, it's true that both have to change, but it's not that both have to change at the same time. Change does not happen together. It happens in parts. If we're talking about Corona, it just didn't spread around the world at the same time. It started one place, then it got transmitted. Now that's the same with change. Change in a marriage. You don't have to wait for your wife to change for things to get better. You change first, and then your wife will automatically change. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Now, if you want to change, I do a master class. All that you have to do is, probably many of you would have signed up for the master class. You can attend it, or else you can go to my page. You can get in touch with me. You'll find a WhatsApp button on my page. You can get in touch with me and I'll help you to register for this masterclass, where it's a 90-minute masterclass where I'll teach you step by step to move from wherever you are. No matter, probably you don't have love in your marriage and you want to bring more love, or you're separated but you want to get back, or even if you have applied for divorce but you want to get back, I'll help you to do that. So to sum up, why love dies? Because wrong understanding. We think that infatuation is love, which is not. Infatuation is infatuation, and love is born after infatuation dies. And the second thing is because we kill it. We kill it by using criticism, doubt, anger, shouting, screaming, not talking. And the third reason is we invest. We spend on our wedding and we don't invest on our marriage. What I want you to do right now, if you have come to the end of watching this live, Facebook Live, I want you to write in the comments what do you think about what I've shared. Let's create a revolution. Let's create a revolution of positivity around. Every one of us deserve a great marriage. And just by talking about it, nothing changes. except when we invest in it, when we apply what we learn, and we become better men, or those of you women, you become better women. If you focus on your spouse to change, you are on the wrong path. Let me repeat that. If you're focusing on changing your partner, you are on the wrong path. You will never ever be able to change your partner. Even if you change your partner, they will not be love. But if you become a loving person, and for that you got to learn, it's not easy, you got to learn. But when you become a loving person, you change in a systematic way by learning new things. You got to learn. Without learning, you cannot change. Everything else changes. And I see these miracles every day in my work of coaching men and women. So thank you very much for being here. Let's keep in touch. Write in the comments what you think about what I've shared, and let's keep our love story alive. A love story with ourselves, with our partner, with all those people around, and whole of nature. Take care and good night.